flawless round coming through for Ascend, and while I was thinking it was unlikely that they'd be able to make this comeback, but now it's looking very, very scary for Gambit.
Yep, 11-6 down. They managed to fight all the way back up to double digits, and at this point, they've even had their moneymaker round, right? So even if Gambit find one, they're immediately going to be buying back up on the Ascend side. The chance to fight for overtime at a minimum is looking very good. And with the way the rounds have been going so far, Gambit have absolutely no answer for what Ascend are doing. And what Ascend are doing is switching up as well. Look at this short aggression out of CNED. The drone clears his left. He doesn't even need to look for now. And eventually, though, he's going to have to back off. I mean, solid for Gambit to not give him that opportunity and realize something was a little bit funky on middle.
Here.
Therefore, hoping that he could maybe find a little bit of extra space. I think he's realized that there are going to be a couple of players here. Nice shot onto Bone Cold, but do they still suspect Starzo in this corner? I mean, definitely pinged the wall at one point, but I think that was more just which they were actually deciding to break rather than anything else. CNED realizing that, okay, we've lost the man advantage, it's time for me to go wandering again, and if he can find a pick and back off, it's game on.
Your duty is not over.
And Dash still online means he's going to be pretty comfortable. Smoke going in. It's actually quite deep. He's going to play towards the A side. Wise choice. The steps being heard already. Hunter's Fury buying him a little bit of time to get into position. Cloudburst, though, that's a real thorn in the side. Defo's able to get towards the back of the site. CNED shuts down one. There's the push out of Killaz to secure Defo, who had gotten into the site, and now they're stuck behind the smoke. The spike down in the open, and all of Gambit's forces holding that choke point. Shados doesn't really have the opportunity. And what seemed like an incredibly unlikely scenario for Gambit to be in this tough of a position, for Ascend to make that comeback, becomes a reality. We're looking at 11-11, a tied-up scoreline, and Shados is attempting to save this rifle, but they are coming for him in force and shutting him down. No reward for him either in getting a kill there and dying, because he had his ult online already, and that just feeds Ascend a couple more ult orbs.
Yeah, he's had it for about 5 rounds, and yeah, a Descender in a spot now where financially they don't need to really worry too much about their economy unless they were going to lose every single one of their players. Like, you're looking at CNED with 8,700 credits going into this round, so it really, really doesn't matter that they lose a single player. They're 5 rounds in a row. As said, this was the map where I was looking at Gambit and saying, I want this to be a convincing victory if you were going to sort of challenge Ascend in the series, because I believe up next we've got Bind, which is a map that I don't think anyone's really been able to beat Ascend on throughout this tournament. They've been utterly fantastic on it. Like, you're looking at the victories even versus Supermassive Blaze, 13-6 versus Gambit, 13-7, G2, 13-2, FPX, 13-4. If you lose your own map choice, I would say there's a very high potential that this is going to be a 2-0 start in a best-of-5 series. And then you head into, I think it's Breeze, which, I don't know, I put that as a hard 50-50.
Yeah, I'll roll the dice on that one for sure. Well, at 11-11, Gambit, no surprise, calling a tactical timeout. They definitely have some stuff to discuss. They've had plenty of data gathering rounds and very little execution off the back of it. Every time they attempt something, there's always a spanner in the works from Ascend. They seem to be playing right into their hand. In fact, I would say a lot of the time they've been very unlucky with the sites that they choose. That Ascend seem to have their players, at least 2, stacked towards it in the late round, when they're in these like 3v3s and so on. The drone early doesn't spot the 2 players getting aggressive. My God, you can't anticipate that kind of a strat. Hey, you see one guy passive towards market, and it's the Sova who's normally here. So okay, fine, we know that we can get a little bit of control. The res finally comes in, and it will be secured this time. Nobody able to punish. I mean, that has been online since round 3 or 4. No better time to deploy it.
Yeah, the problem is it just puts them right back in the spot they were in before, though. They've still got weaker weaponry than their opponents. They've got no ultimates that are really going to be too valuable in this round. And yeah, they've just had to use their wall to actually try and get themselves the res up in the first place. So they've managed to take some mid control, but you can see the adaptation from Ascend. They've now got aggression looking into B. They've got a deep spot over in Wine on the A site. They've also got short control. In other words, what I'm trying to tell you is Gambit have no map control other than mid.
Yes. They're in middle, holding the wings, and we found success here before. in one of the initial rounds where Gambit played the exact same strat and attempting to go for aggressive mid control, and Redgar was holding for the push. That was where we saw Starzo get shut down right at the start of a round. That dash right past Zeke. Good trade, good information early on. That allows the rotates to come in. Bone Cold tries to make a play, but fully blinded up. Nats is able to take him down. Gambit have a fire lit under them, and the A side is now theirs. Better late than never as they look for 12 rounds to regain the lead that they held for so long. Starzo, though, will shut down too. Oh, not again, surely. They've actually gotten to a site for once. It's only the both plans that they need. And they still have CNED to deal with. That's the scary thing. Peeking on range is not going to be an option. Shadoff is by himself underneath and challenged by Starzo, taken down. Nats needs a huge round to keep this alive. The spike being diffused as we speak. Cam gonna spot out one, but as he peeks, there's the off. The shot missed. A rarity and an opportunity now. Nats needs to be quick on this. It's being diffused, but as he peeks, that player is baiting him out. The time running down, and Nats gets it. All 3 kills. It's 12-11. Gambit finally managed to get around on the board, but Tom, it was close. And it certainly didn't start out that way, which doesn't fill you with faith that they'll close this one out.
I got 2 things. One, that's one of the dirtiest cameras I've ever seen. He actually just put it basically on the spike. I don't know if I've seen someone do that before. Just like, oh, you want to try and do this? Well, the camera is inside you. It's just on top of you. Like, it's so disgusting. Second thing, what was Redgar doing when he tried to, like, TP into the middle of the site? Like, the man lost his mind. It was a 4 versus 2. Like, why was that the play? Like, did they think they were saving or something? I'm so confused as to what happened there. But, yeah, Gambit taking attack, and there are multiple reasons for this. One, they now have one opportunity to close this out after losing 5 rounds in a row. So, fair enough. Like, take attack pause. The other thing as well is, 0 players survived. And that only benefits Ascend, because as you can see right now, Bone Cold's deciding what to buy because he has 9,000 credits.
Plenty of cash, for sure. Well, the tactical timeout comes to an end, so we'll have a solution to Bone Cold's buying problems. Would love a little load and bought up, wouldn't you? You'd love to see it.
No, you'd. No one else really cares that much.
And there's at least 2 or 3 people that would love to see it as well.
He's also... It says he spent 9,000, so I want to know what he's dropped on the... Has he dropped another operator? It looks like he has. Yeah, Stars has actually got one into this round as well, so there's been a few weapons juggled around to try and just give them the best of... CNED.
Why is he here? If he gets a kill here, Gambit can't even... They can't even justify how, like, there's no way. There's no way he should be here. They're even being cautious of it. This is what it's like to play against CNED. You take it for granted that he can be absolutely anywhere. And he still gets a kill out of it. Still alive. No dash. He's trying to get away. And Chronicle manages to shut him down. Defo continues. But Starzo is here, holding from the side with the second operator. Plenty of cash on Bone Cold allowed for this. Gambit falling apart at the seams here on the mid-control. Ascender just crunching in. Completely starving them of oxygen. That spike left down outside of B, and they have no option to really get near it for now. They have to try and fight for some sort of map control seat. That's the round confirmed, isn't it? 1 versus 4. Redgar. Maybe go for from the shadows to B side or something, but oh, he's got A. That's unlucky.
Uh-oh. Well, he's seen it. But I guess it came down to the Battle of the Omens. It will be heading into OT. I think, honestly, with the comeback we've seen from Ascend, it's more than deserved, but it is just that battle and brawl for mid. The almost... I want to say, half the plays that I see, mate, I'm just like, that is disrespectful. Like, just to waltz down mid, going a little stroll through, and then just moments later, Zeke goes, there's a smoke here, I'm going to push through it, probably get a kill, and then just dismiss back out of there again. It's why we wanted to see him back on the duelist. It's why we like seeing the Reign for this Ascend squad, because they're just so good at just utilizing those abilities of getting a kill and getting away. I think they might be better than anyone else in the entirety of EMEA at just doing that. Just finding those picks, getting away, and then just having the other team sat there red face going, well, what was I meant to do?
Well, what are Gambit meant to do when they go back to the attack side? I mean, they have to win this round. If they want to be closing out this map, it's looking unlikely that their attack round will go their way. Defo falls right away. Ascend with the same old trick we've seen from them before. A player crosses to the left side. Here, Shados tucked in the corner. This could be an opportunity, but they're ready for it. It doesn't matter. He still manages to walk away with 3. A huge turn up for Shados, who now has a res online, and he'll be getting his teammate right back into this fight. 4v1 kill has not a chance. As we go 13-12. One more chance for Gambit to close it out here on their attack side, and while that started terribly, I think Ascend had a great read on how to play that over towards the short control, but wow, you kind of count for that kind of brilliance from Shados.
I feel like that's one of those like Doctor Strange moments where he's like, there's like 1 in 3 billion chance of him getting away with 3 kills there.
Yep.
We need to try and hit that 1. It's like, how? They're even breaking the wall because they think there could be someone in this corner. I think it's literally because Zeke has to reload. So he goes back into the corner. The other players aren't ready for the wall to be broken. And honestly, I think that comes down to just a little bit of miscommunication coming out from Ascend. Otherwise, I think 2 there was impressive. 3 there was impossible.
Pretty much, yeah. And I think for Ascend as well, it's a bit of a demotivating battle to lose. We've got a bunch of opportunities for Gambit to win attack rounds, and they haven't been able to connect them again and again, slipping up on this attack side. And a lot of it has been based around that mid-control that they've attempted. Every time they go out there, it's either CNED getting aggressive down middle and opping them, or Zeke going in through the smoke and taking a couple of kills, bailing out. Now, it seems like they're going to shift their focus a little bit with 3 players outside A at the start, but still wanting to play a bit for that mid-control. Cypher and Silva seem to fake them out into thinking it's the same old, same old.
Okay. That will be heard by Bone Cold. It's looking like somewhat of an all-in take. 3 players looking to try and battle for control, but you need to dismiss. We're going to try and heal up a little bit, but not really getting anything for it. And again, it's going to be defense that goes to a flying start. And this is just what they're so good at, finding those openers and putting Gambit in a spot where they have to try and recover.
That's lurking up through short. Maybe he can do something here. There's 2 players, though. That's the problem. Bone Cold here to support Zeke and take the trade afterwards. A minute left on the clock. And they don't have to make a move just yet. And they're wisely still spread out, playing the B side a little bit, putting the wall there, the recon as well, revealing that there's no one inside of B main that's going to drag a rotate from this end as they move back to support the B side. Now's the time to strike for Gambit. They still haven't sold that much of a fake, though. A solid 3-man hold for Ascend. That double short play still in effect, and his noise is now made inside of main. That chooses his time to strike. He's coming up behind as we speak. The sprays, as these players are so focused, they don't know that Max is here, and he gets him. What was that on the seat? He spray transfers it into a smoke and headshots him as well. Ridiculous play from Nats, and that gives Gambit the chance. A 3v3 as they hold on to the site now. Redgar going in the smoke falls. They need a big play to come out, and Shados falls. Chronicle all alone. 2 players left to drop, and he can't get it done this time. It will be another overtime as Ascend just about battle back into the A site.
It's just big play after big play. It's just almost coming down to like who's the bigger balls and who's going to win this map. Like, absolutely ridiculous. I will admit, I'm seeing a lot of like new Nats fanboys, and as a Nats hipster, it is starting to like trigger me a little bit. Like, God, I was a fan of Nats before it was cool. I know that Mitch is going to say that, but if the Odin ever comes into fashion, like if people are playing that all the time, you'll be like, you're only just picking up the Odin. I was doing it since day 1.
Yeah. we got me, Coldamento, we got Strong Legs in there, Chronicles, like the Odin crew. Everyone else be laughing, but someday, Tom, I'm telling you, they're going to realize we're into OT number 2. Gambit. Again, on that defensive side, they found a lot of success here. You see the adaptation of not playing that operator on Depo and short this time. It's just not had the success whenever they take that short play. But it's an adaptation from Ascend as well. They're not going to the same old strat. They're starting to move towards teammates. 4 players stacked up there, and it's only Zeke floating around, oddly enough, with the spike. I don't think that's intentional entirely. He's just watching for any sort of mid-play, making sure they don't get aggressive and push down. Really gambling on the fact that Gambit will take an aggressive stance themselves. Little do they know, this is probably one of the most patient teams in the world.
Yeah, it is a complete clash of styles when it comes to this defense. Like, Ascender looking to try and battle and brawl for every piece of map control, and Gambit have almost gone,
They're playing the
you're gonna have to give us back, or you're gonna have to take the site off them eventually, and by that point you will have almost run out of time. Paranoia again gonna slow them down, although there is only one man defending it. It is this setup once again. They're gonna have to try and walk through the cages. They use the wall to try and give them an elevated spot. Nat's still just surviving in the back and almost buying time. Shados has already found a kill, but they still haven't cleared. He hasn't actually moved yet. Finally he'll be spotted, but again, there's just so many players here at this point. They just can't shut it down. 3 kills from the back,
やられました。
and any site he's on is just lost.
やべえこれ。
Alright, so we've done many different things before. We've broken down rounds, we've broken down games. I honestly want to watch an entire VOD from Nats's perspective.
Give us, please.
First of all, the
Give us
patience.
POVs. Give us
The patience from this man is off the charts. He is able to hold that backside while he's being pressured by like 4 different players. And he's like, that's good. I don't need to peek yet. His target selection and his decision making on when to take a fight is so on point. And we saw that on the short play on their last attack side when he managed to sneak up behind them. And the whole time, even as I can see the enemies, I'm thinking, okay, Nats, go now, go now, go now. And he's so patient. He's just sitting there waiting. And as soon as they fake out A main control, that's when he goes out. Same on the backside there. He waits for Shados to come in and take a fight to catch their eye just for a second. That's when he takes a fight. Everything about it is so damn good. Bone Cold's going to be caught. Shados was watching it and watching him waiting. Now Gambit have almost faked out a little bit of A control, like they're moving towards that side of the map, but they're actually shifting slowly back towards that spike. And then back towards A. Okay, it's going to be presence across the map made by these guys, and even now they don't have to commit towards the side.
Well, I think Nats as well has heard someone like clip into the cage, so he's almost just had to play some utility down to try and make sure that they know if they're pushing behind. The fact is, though, Ascend have actually full rotated in. There'll be 4 players ready and waiting on this A-side. Trades coming back thick and fast, but it's a missed shot onto Zeke, an opportunity for Defo to find something here, and instead he falls to see it. It's left to Shados, who's going to find 2 quick kills. The plant is going to be stuck. He has his res available. Starzo had an opportunity to pick him up. Instead, he'll bring back Defo. The peak comes in, and he'll get both kills. It's going to go level once again. He's got to go and defuse. Can't be too patient in his play. In fact, even just going to have a little bit of a celebratory res. But dear Lord, these rounds are going back and forth.
Yeah, this is certainly not a clean win in either of the rounds. In either of the OTs, but that's fine. That's completely fine by me. If these guys want to keep on putting out insane individual plays, yeah, keep it going, keep it rolling, all day long. I'm here to see it. Another tactical timeout going to be deployed. This time it's Ascend that do it, but I'm sure Gambit are going to be equally happy to take a breather after that one. Such a close attempt by Shados, and he does so well. If Starzo pushes out slightly less, if he takes 0.1 of a second longer to peak, Shados would have had his weapon deployed, and that could have been a very favorable fight. And there are other ways that could have been played and actually baiting out the res and everything, but at the same time, you can't really fault Shados in that situation.
He could have been anywhere as well. That's
Exactly,
the other thing.
yeah.
Like, he could have been pushing in all the way around from spawn. He could have been pushing in from heaven. Like, we're looking at it from, like, we know exactly where Starzo is. The fact is, Shados actually had a really good read. Like, he looked directly where he'd just thrown a slow, which realistically is not necessarily your first point of call. So it's just minuscule. Like, 0.1 of a second, and I reckon they win that round. Because that's the other thing as well. If Starzo doesn't push that slow, they get the res off as well, and then it's a 2v1.
Or even target selection for Starzo. If he focuses on the res, if he takes that kill, he gets traded instantly. And there's so many ways that can go wrong for Ascend. And considering it was a 3v1, damn good attempt. We come out of the pause, Gambit are ready to roll, and I'm looking at Chronicle, and I got a big smile on my face, but it doesn't look like he's going to have an opportunity, at least on the initial fight, to use that Odin, as Ascend are focusing on B this time.
Or A, as some people would call it.
Or A, sorry, yeah.
There's only going to be one defender though, Mitch. already. They're going to walk into the first trip, trying to find him within the cages, but instead they find Defo, and Nats is still surviving. He's still alive. He's so annoying. Finally, they kill him off, but it's already a 2 versus 1. Oh, God. Can Killers now pull off the clutch that they need? He's wary of a player pushing him from behind. Actually, with the amount of time left, actually needs to go for any sort of plant.
They didn't see his head? They didn't notice as he walks on by, now making his way behind in heaven, but they're still being suspicious of it. And the best part about that, Gambit are willing to concede the site control. They'll give up anything. All they want to do is play that together and make sure that they trade out on whatever fight they eventually end up taking. I noticed CNED, as soon as he gets tagged up by that trap wire, he hits the dash. Force of habit, I guess, from back in the days when that would actually break it. And instead he just ends up slingshotting around the place and eventually being taken down. But yeah, Matt's utility, really, that guy didn't like this game. He's so good. But it's exceptional as well. It's not like it's good Cypher play, it's ridiculous Cypher play.
I will say I would love to see him play against that. I think that would be...
Yes, please.
Either way, we're going to have this fast push in. Quite a lot of ground that's been garnered initially, but I guess it doesn't matter. 2 kills coming through. Killers gets tagged but instantly healed back up. Bone Cold just holding on to any sort of flank. And if they want to keep pushing, well, I don't think they should want to keep pushing this. There's so many players on the other side. Killers, that was a little bit audacious. This could come back to haunt them, but now the flank's coming through. Chronicle would have to turn around, and unfortunately he's not quite fast enough. 15-15. What was the rest?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here, Tom. Okay, slow it down.
Map 1 of 5, you know, I'm ready. I'm in for the long haul. I got nothing else to do today. We started a little bit earlier because we knew this series.
We started this conversation yesterday in a couple of different areas, a few times, and it was around people asking, will teams actually try? You know, so they're already in Berlin, so you know, are they just gonna mess around? After watching this game, realizing that they're absolutely giving it the roll. A little bit slower on throwing that cloud burst this time. He looked at it, it's gonna bounce. Okay, it's not. Cool. Just to make sure, great opening trick by Shados as well. Like, insane aggression, considering this is, that's something Ascend have done a bunch of times, right? They put that wall down, but they haven't played on top of it. And you don't expect on this critical stage to play.
Already, look at from behind though. Deadbolt, he's doing something into the back of it. We'll finally put him in the grave.
GG.
But again, it's just going to be left to this man. So much space taken by Defo this time, and oh, it's 16-15. How many opportunities again we're going to get? This is their map choice. This is the map out of all of them that we expected them to win, but now being fought tooth and nail. And well, let's be real, so far it has been all defensive side play. Like, just look at this scoreboard. Look how stupid this scoreboard looks.
Up and down and up and down, yeah, back and forth, bit of ping pong. We love it. 16-15. Defensive side plays have been there, as you said, but now it's Ascend's turn to put up the numbers yet again, and they have had a couple of errors, a couple of chances for Gambit to really get into it. You're going to see the same play towards the A side this time, of 4 players. Not quite as centered around stopping mid pushes, and that's when CNET starts to push down middle. And Bone Cold, he's whiffed it. The one saving grace could be CNET. The operator manages to shut down Redguard. He had pushed short in the early round, found nothing, and then goes back. Ascend are evened up, as they will look for a retake. The spike hasn't yet been picked up, and that door is going to be broken. Spike's still cleanly within their sights. Defo has to make a play. The distraction's coming in, trying to buy him a little bit of room to get up on top. He's watching over towards the door. Great headshot, but on 10 HP, Starzo survives. Another connection onto Nats, and Chronicle won't last long either. A great round from CNET to get us, you guessed it, another overtime.
Overtime.
Will we get to double digits in the 2s? That's the real question that's on everybody's mind. Isn't that, I know it's officially called.
Oh yeah, very commonly called. I've heard the phrase many times. over the
You know,
years.
it's like commentators get the name things, like we've seen Panzer out with Madonna.
What do
And
you-
you get to name what 2020 is called, which is double digits in the twos. For anybody who wasn't there the other day, Mitch had a bit of a meltdown and got quite far into the game. And we're getting there now, actually.
We are. We're on our way towards double digits in the twos. Well, it's going to be a push out of the set towards the B side, but not too successful to start with. Zeke manages to pull it back.
Oh my god.
The wall is broken, so he can actually make it through there and start to really pressure them. You can see the sprays coming his way. Nats on the backside grabs the tag. There's a headshot, but no kill off it. Surviving on 10 HP yet again. CNED. I mean, he won't be healed up, but he'll be thankful to just be alive at this point.
Oh, the timing. He was actually on the reload there, still getting back out of the animation to be able to take a shot. The shock dart not quite going to connect. It could have removed CNED from action, but instead he will be alive and kicking. A couple of players, in fact, both on 10 HP. The spam through the wall, the paranoia going to try and leave them blind, and Defo has taken so much space already finding that first pick. He gets tagged as well. It's left all on to Killers. He doesn't have many bullets left to even play with, and they're just going to start sticking the defuse. They have to, but did he actually deny? I think he did. Is there going to be enough time? I'm not sure there's enough on the clock for them to actually get this through. It's so close. It's 0.2. That was almost enough from Killers. An incredible attempt, but it's still Gambit to win their defensive round, even by just absolute nothing. That is ridiculous.
All right, let's give it to Gambit now. They said that when Shados pops off, they win games, and he is currently pound for pound with CNED, who's having an absolutely incredible performance on that operator. He's been dominating, especially on that defensive side. How we saw it just to bring them into this OT. He managed to find a 3K in the previous when they were in a 3v4. Instrumental to Ascend success and internationally known, but Shados needs to go on that list pretty damn soon. Himself, Nats, Defo, Chronicle, Edgar, every single one of these guys could be generational players, dude. It's such a good team. It's such a good set of teams, indeed, between these two. Gambit, once again, trying to close this out on their attack side. A look to pressure the mid control. As Bone Cold is spotted out. Paranoia to let him exit, even a Lear just to guarantee it. A smoke as well. They are even going to Shroud and step out of there, making damn sure that he isn't getting pushed down. But that's a lot of utility burnt up over on the Ascent side.
There
is currently Sage already. CNED.
Nice,
Trying
nice.
to be a little bit cheeky. It's the standoff. Watching the trip. They're expecting this aggression to be there somewhere. And I think that's preemptively. He's going to spot out CNED. He's going to have to fall all the way back and give up that control. The problem is we're now getting down to the 14-second mark. And this is where a decision has to be made. I'm still looking at the current position of the Bone Cold. He's played so many times before. How does Rekgar get two? Switch to give the kill over. This is Gambit's
死なんのかよ。
Absolutely, yeah. 3v5, sure, a couple of
Which
players
Maziro?
are low. In fact, the heals can even come in, but not on the red guard. CNED saved them many times before, and he'll look to do it again. The dash is not online. This is an ambitious peek out of CNED as he loses one of his teammates. Starzo might be soon to follow. Luckily, just about staying alive. CNED on top. Such a hard fight to take with the offense. Starzo goes down, this round could be over. But if he finds this kill on Nats, it's instrumental. And there it is. 2 versus 2, both players down below. Oh, the shot's not going to connect. Starzo has to get them both. They're running out together, and they'll only get the first. 18 to 16 we go. Gambit just about get it across the line. What an incredibly tight start to this best of 5. And let's hope that's a sign of what's to come. Wow.
How was map 1? The potential of 5 map, we're going to be here until tomorrow. And you know what, I'm absolutely okay with that. Because luckily then it just rolls over and Pansy and Hypop will just take this straight into the next match. A ridiculous first map to kick things off. Truly phenomenal one. And honestly, I'm so excited to go into buy now because I was expecting this to be a solid map for Gambit. One that they win at least cleanly. That was anything but clean, but it was one hell of a spectacle.
Yeah, let's keep the OTs rolling is all I can say. I'm here all day for that. 18 to 16. What a game. What a way to start this one out. And Tom, And we saw everything that we wanted to. We saw CNED's operator. We saw Nats on those nasty lurk plays shade us. I mean, he was putting in a lot of work, and no doubt they're going to want a little bit of a break. And you know what? I think we'll take one too. We're going to throw things to a break now. We've also got a little surprise for you in the form of our featured song. It's going to be Paper Planes by Lucas and Steve with Pungavag. Enjoy.
아, 노출 봤다.
Saved them many times before, and he'll look to do it again.
Oh,
The
damn,
gas is
Victor.
not online. This is an ambitious peak out of CNET as he loses one of his teammates. Starzo might be soon to follow. Luckily, just about staying alive. CNET on top. Such a hard fight to take with the offense. Starzo goes down, this round could be over. But if he finds this kill on an act, it's instrumental. And there it is. 2 versus 2, both players down below. Oh, the shot's not going to connect. Starzo has to get them both. They're running out together, and they'll only get the first. 18 to 16 we go. Gambit just about get it across the line. What an incredibly tight start to this best of 5. And let's hope that's a sign of what's to come.
와, 신우야.
Wow.
How was map 1? The potential of 5 map, we're going to be here until tomorrow. And you know what, I'm absolutely okay with that. Because luckily then it just rolls over and Pansy and Hypop will just take this straight into the next match. A ridiculous first map to kick things off. Truly phenomenal one. And honestly, I'm so excited to go into buy now because I was expecting this to be a solid map for Gambit. One that they win at least cleanly. That was anything but clean, but it was one hell of a spectacle.
Yeah, let's keep the OTs rolling is all I can say. I'm here all day for that. 18 to 16. What a game. What a way to start this one out. And Tom, and we saw everything that we wanted to. We saw CNED's operator. We saw Nats on those nasty lurk plays shade us. I mean, he was putting in a lot of work, and no doubt they're going to want a little bit of a break. And you know what? I think we'll take one too. We're going to throw things to a break now. We've also got a little surprise for you in the form of our featured song. It's going to be Paper Planes by Lucas and Steve with Pungavag. Enjoy.
EMEA Challengers playoffs. We knew this series was going to be spicy, but what a start we had on Ascend. I'm your host, Jinx, and I'm back on the desk with Ryan and Kakuka. You guys, we were theorizing on whether Ascend would maybe ban this one out, but Ryan, they came pretty prepared.
Yeah, and I mean, it's an improvement. They're going up against the team of Gambit who hasn't lost this map at all. Now they're 9-0. But at least they brought it a little bit closer than they did last time, which ended 13-10 in favour of Gambit. This went to overtime. The improvements, the changeover from Zeke to play the Reyna instead of Keyless, he went on to Silver. So they swapped agents, and it looked a lot more coherent from there.
And it was all about the defense. It's not only that it was the most, the strongest side from each of the teams. Literally, all the overtime was just defense, 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 until one of them managed to get one attack on their way. Pretty impressive also the use of the operator almost as soon as possible from both teams. Yeah, I mean, this is both of these teams are their best, right? They're doing everything they can to try and secure this map. But Kakuka, do you feel like, this speaks volumes on the side of Gambit because they allowed Ascent to get back into the game, but they closed it out with confidence. I think this is good for Ascent in the fact that we were talking about how they're packing with this maps and actually don't know what it's gonna come out, trying new things. Zeke on the ring, I think he did a good job. Maybe not as good as expected, but you need to try it, and this is the moment to do it. So I think it is a win for Gambit, but it's so close to Ascent, and I think
the common problems that keep coming up as well is just both sides of the attack. Some players apply, for example, also rough feelings. When you look at the attacking half, he wasn't really creating that space. He's not been criticised for it as much, but more at the point of pain going forward. Against the same, you're going to see that more often. People are always surprised at why do these teams play so poorly, so scrappy when they're meant to be the best. It's like, well, you have the two best teams, or two of the best teams in EMEA. Two great teams playing up against each other naturally gets a little bit dicey, maybe looks worse than it actually is.
Yeah, and also we gotta say, Shados up there with 30 kills right next to CNED and Kukuka, you know. We were confused a little bit as to why Redgar said that Shados was a win condition, but we understand that now. I mean, I said it before the match started, and I've been saying it this whole week. Gambit's full roster is scary. All of the players, if it's not in one map, it will be in the next one. It's something that you always have to look out for. Yeah, and I just want to quickly move on to this round because, Ryan, Nats is a lunatic, and I have never seen a player clutch out like this.
On an attacking round as well, where Gambit's rough, so the clip is a really interesting one for the setup alone, because whilst I was critical of Gecko, this is a nice dash in to create some space, takes the attention away for Zeke even, Shados was there to trade out, Vocal doesn't get a bit antsy trying to flash there, Nat shuts him down, but this is where it gets interesting. Pay attention to Nat, and pay attention to where that camera ends up, because I've never seen a player put a camera on the spike like this, and clearly Ascend haven't expected it either, because they left it up there for Nat to check.
めちゃくちゃ外した。
It's a really nice hold from him. It's good play from Shados just to be a bit of a pain. If he dies here, the best thing that he can do at the very least is slow down the time. This was a really rough start for Gambit initially in this round, but then Nats comes out with a terrific play, and this
is insane. This is literally just insane.
Never seen it before. It's just that hold, and he's won it at this point, I think. Like, CNED's not sure how he wants to approach it. The defuse needs to be dedicated, and from there he is the best Sentinel player at this point. I mean, most people will argue that Dapper's in for contention, but you don't see that from Dapper. No. Not yet, at least. We'll see it soon, Douglas Dapper, maybe.
Probably will now, because he's seen it.
He's like, I'm taking it. But that's what makes Dapper a great player, is he's cherry picking, but now we get to see the grandfather of Cypher now in Berlin, and with plays like that, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, one of our favorite names. It's also the way that he moved, and it's not only that round. That is the problem with Nats, is that he's not going to be played a duelist, so you don't have to worry about him entry fragging. But it is a problem as well, because he's going to be on the back, and he's going to do whatever he wants to do. He's going to come in last, but he's going to be the one standing. It actually annoys me how smart he is, you know? Like, we've watched Valorant, yeah, for like over a year we've seen these players play, and that's the first time, you know, at least at this level of competition, the three of us have ever seen anything like this. But also, speaking of smart players and speaking of godly players, you know, Kukuka, we gotta talk about CNED. He did some pretty good stuff, as he would in that game, and one particular round from him as well. Yeah, exactly. It was with the operator, and it was an ace. It's this kind of things, you know, we always talk about CNED, and this is why. So the round starts, everything, you know, seems to fall into place. They were attacking, they're trying to get all that info, pushing them back, and he just goes in with the Vandal. Two of their teammates just fall down, but it's just not enough. Very slow pace. Getting into the site. Looks like Defos has everything under control. It looks like it's going to be a 2v4.
It is a really slow one, because this is the problem with both teams on attack, is this sort of slowdown. But I think the thing that makes CNED great here is that he needs to smoke this off. This is easily a round that could go horribly wrong for Ascend, as you see him. But CNED re-enters back into this and kills two. Who makes this decision? Who goes, we're really struggling to get through this area. Now that we've got the spike planted, I'm going to go and refight them. If he goes in there and dies, he's effectively inted a little bit, and he almost leaves the Sage on their own to hold it.
I mean, they had no business winning that. But this is the power of CNED, right? He makes every single round, Ryan, winnable no matter what.
I think that's the exciting thing. Shados, I liked how consistent he was. I think he had 16 attacks, 16 kills on attack and defense, which, looking at some of the players in that match, at the very least, we saw CNED being really high up there when it comes to defensive kills, but not finding those openings on attack. It's about making sure that from side to side that you are comfortable on that. Ascend, it's likely going to be a bit problematic. They're changing up their comps, they're trying to figure out how they want to approach it, and I think, despite losing, the fact that they took it so close to a team that hasn't really been troubled on this map at all is at least a step in the right direction. I know MBS will watch that and go, it's better, but there's plenty to improve.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to keep playing like that, Berlin is going to be very, very interesting for them, but we have to move on to the next map now, because this is Ascend 6, and this, you know, the last map is the storyline was, you know, Gambit, they don't lose here, they're going to be pretty comfortable. This is pretty much Ascend to lose. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I have to say that I really like the way that Ascend played it yesterday. On their defense, they only lost the pistol round, I mean the consecutive one, but that was so strong from them. And actually, I think for the last 2 months, they haven't lost more than 2 rounds on the defense. That is crazy for any team. On Gambit, they have changed their composition and they're looking pretty strong, especially with that Astra. But is it going to be enough?
For Ascend on this map, it's also they're undefeated. They have not really been pushed, they've not struggled, they have some nice wins over G2. Gambit before, they beat G2 13-2. Like, that's a pretty dominant result if you're looking at it. But again, I feel like if you're going over to the Gambit side, much like we saw from Ascend on Ascent, they're still trying to work out how they want to approach it. We saw Defo playing a bit of Sky, playing a bit of Jet. There's still a lot going on. And we actually saw Redgun moving over to the Astra, which...
Yeah.
We still have Nats on the Viper. It's a bit more control. I imagine we're going to be seeing the guys of Gambit defending first, because they get to pick the side at the very least. So they can start off nicely, and Ascend, it's just about making sure that their attacking house are a little bit better than they were on Ascend.
I mean, this is the beauty of Gambit, right? They didn't have a good result here against Ascend the last time they faced each other. What do? They go away, they do their homework, they change stuff, and Ryan, ever since then, they've looked a lot better. So do you feel like it's going to at least be a closer matchup in comparison to the last time they played here?
I think so. I think this is a map as well where we could see Ascend just changing stuff up for change sake, maybe. Just because we're comfortable on this map, we haven't been troubled. We can either hide some of the strategies or at least practice something a little bit different, even if it's just a small thing like Bone Cold plays Brimstone. Maybe we put him on the Astra. Maybe we see how that flies. Because if they go and lose this map, they're 6-1 overall in the tournament, and it's just kind of a, alright, it didn't work. Let's never do that again, guys. But at least you have that chance to go up against a team that isn't brilliant on this map in Gambit and still try and beat them out with something a little bit different.
I think it's going to be also a lot about what we saw in Ascent between CNED and Defo. Defo also using the operator, especially on attack, so I think that's going to be a major part. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what both of these teams pull out, but for now we're going to head to a quick break. But do not go anywhere, guys. This series is just getting started, and Bind is on the way. In a great spot after taking map 1, but this is a marathon, not a sprint between Gambit and Ascend here. Ryan, Kakuta, welcome back again. Before we head into Agent Select, you know, you both said that maybe this is where things get switched up a little bit. Ryan, we saw at least a slight change on Ascent. Do you feel like it's wise for them to not stick to what they know here?
I think it's very much open to experimentation. I think it's just worth it at this point because you put yourself in a position, you could at least bring the honours even on scoreline. It makes sure that you win your map pick, your main one, and also the Gambit won theirs on Ascent, so you're not going to be 2-0 down. But also at the same time, they were so comfortable on this map earlier when they played earlier in the tournament. So I do think that Ascend attacking first is just setting the pace, try and go even on differential 6-all if they can into the half, and then just nail their defense because Gambit couldn't really break that down at all.
Yeah, this has to be Ascend's like comfort pick completely. They're both going to be probably playing double controller, but it's going to be completely different. One is of the teams is going to go for the Brimstone, and Gambit is going to go for the Astra. Maybe one of the changes is that Astra coming on from Ascent. I don't think so. I think that, as I said, this is their comfort pick. Well, let's have a look and go into Agent Select now to see if we will be seeing some changes from both of these teams. But so far, a little slower on the picking side, but Ryan, nothing too alarming yet.
We do see Zeke going over to the Raze, that's expected. Cena backs off of the Duelist onto a Sage, and the rest of Gambit locking in what they usually do. It's not looking to be completely different. Like I said, Redgar we're expecting to be on the Astra, but he has played a bit of Omen on this map. He does have that freedom of choice, and Ascend not looking to change up too much. But there is potential of healers who typically plays up on the Viper could go into something else. We've seen a lot of teams move away from Viper.
Yeah, I think this is going to be exactly what we expected because it's a very important map since Gambit took the first one. And Ascend coming from the upper bracket, they cannot let this one slip. Yeah, they're not messing around here, Kukuka, but rightfully so, you know. It's not just any best of 5. Winning this means that they'll earn themselves a rematch against Supermassive Blaze as well, which if we know the Ascend players, they're definitely looking forward to that. Yeah, looking forward to that and also getting the better seeding coming up to Master, so everything's in the game.
I think for me it's Ascend when they first played this series, Ascend Gambit in the upper semi-finals, this wasn't the comp that Gambit ran.
No,
they ran Shados on the Raze, so I'm interested to see how this sort of change in their playstyle pairs up against Ascend this time. If anything, it's hopefully closer. They want to make sure that they could scare Ascend on their map pick, on the map that Ascend have not lost in stage 3 at all. Could be another overtime, it is Mitch and Tom after all, but yeah, you're expecting Gambit to bring it closer than I think it was 13-7 last time.
Well, the agents, they have been selected and locked in and now, and we're ready to go into map 2. Mitch, I know you said you wanted even more OT, so have fun with this one, guys.
Thanks very much, Sue. Yeah, you know what? I'm definitely ready for OTs. And Tom, it looks like some of the guys on Gambit are too, right?
Yeah, got Redguard tweeting out just like, oh, this is going to be heated up, ready for more OTs. No. Come on, man. You're going to try to kill us all in one day, man. I don't know. I'm so excited to see these two teams play. Last time we got to watch them, the defensive side was really impressive from Gambit. They pulled it out and then they lost 2 ridiculous rounds. Not to Ascend, to Stars, so we'll see if he'll be able to pull out those sort of rounds once again. But then when it switched sides, the attack from Gambit was pretty bad.
Yeah, there were definitely some shakier moments there, but I think those of you that just watched the previous map will have a relative understanding of what we're talking about there as well, right? I mean, we saw it on Ascent. They were very, very solid when it came to the defense, but on that attack side, there's a lot of work to be done. But Tom, that almost paints a more beautiful picture of this team because with all they're able to achieve, with such a glaring flaw that they struggle with half of the game, and they're still as good as they are, and when they have more refined as a unit.
めっちゃ外した。全然当たらん。
Yeah, the funny thing is, even since the last time they played, they've changed up their composition and they were still incredibly defensive. So I guess it hasn't made the biggest of differences. What I will say though is I am really enjoying seeing more Astra on this map in particular. I just think the delaying power of that agent is what... Like, I would say that out of a lot of the Sentinels we've seen recently, even though it's technically not a Sentinel, she may even be one of the most powerful, especially on this map, just with the ability to have those grab walls, especially when you're like Hookah. It's just so horrible to try and like get out of that spot because you're having to jump out. If you're being pulled back, you're just screwed. So I think that realistically that could be an addition to their defensive side, but also give them opportunities on the executions. The only worry for me, Mitch, is as we've seen, you're not given anywhere near as much space by Ascend than you are with other teams. So if you're caught in that Astral form, well, CNED's not gonna give you that opportunity to get away.
Yeah, most definitely. The punishment will be there, and I think, never mind caught in astral form, if you get caught in a grab while a stun, and CNED wants to get a little bit of a push at that time, oh, you are in trouble. The shots we saw him hit in the previous map, and I mean, when you've got a player that's willing to push a judge on a close range fight with an operator, oh!
やばいな。うわ、パス君行くそれもしかして。頭が匂う？
消臭有効成分をシャンプーに配合。コラージュフルフルプレミアム。私は大砲よ。準備完了。ワクワクする。
English. So if you want to have fun learning English with us,
player, I sort of like briefly mentioned it earlier, but I think Starzo on this map, even though you kind of look at the duelist of Zeke as maybe being one of the focal point, the fact that CNED's actually switched over to a Sage, as we've now seen Kellogg's do as well on G2, but I think Starzo is just so incremental on this map. I think he's so good at the way that he actually plays this Sky. Again,
Huh? Ah, 欲しい。 持ってかれたし。
アルティメット促進剤を発見。標的を確認。リロード中だ。
上で会おう。
滑落。死体の搬送係は大忙しね。オライト、元通りにしてあげる。
All onto Starzo. He's retrieved the spike. He's retrieved the rifle. The Seekers are going to give away the positions to the remaining players. He should be able to get himself done after pass. I'm getting some deja vu here, Mitch.
Yeah, let's see if Starzo's got those big clutches. No, not this time. And that's a Vandal given over to Gavin. You know, if anything,
Fight sucks, man.
the fight did suck.
The
Fight did suck, though.
The fight sucked, Mitch.
It did. And you know what? With that, Gambit end up in a better economic position than if they just won the second round clean. they put a stand into a shaky enough position, and winning this could be 4-1 up. And what are they up against? Take a look. The Stand are going to be playing with 3 rifles here. A Judge, which, I mean, scary on the hands of Zico. Last pack plays into hookah can be extremely dangerous. A pistol for Bone Cold, but he got a 2K the last time around. So, on paper, not the best of buys for a Stand, but in reality, from what we've seen before, it can definitely work out. Oh, Zeke's gonna blast back through this. Oh, he's coming. Oh, he's coming. And that's in the smoke. This is the worst place to be against the Judge. It's right up in his face. Oh, he's even flying. God, what a start.
Oh, God. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to cope with this, man. We're in round 4 for God's sake. I'm still not getting over to the Bison. How am I supposed to deal with that? Bone Cold's only got a pistol again, but it doesn't even matter at this stage. He's in rounds with that alone. Ultimate-wise, and actually, he's going to be getting to the blade swing, but well, with the operator in place and being forced up the angle, Flash going through it, already taking quite a lot of space. They've got the wall available to get themselves into an after-plant position. Don't you dare. I will leave.
Oh, the name pushes him out of position. Defo's in
어, 됐지, 됐어.
and that's going to be the planter down. Spike confirmed to be here. Rotates are fully underway. Everybody from Gambit is now on this site, ready to fight back into it. The Blade Storm is popped. This is where Defo wants to deal massive damage. And Zeke's the first to go. CNET, finally! 1v4. What a beautiful retake for Gambit. They made that look easy.
Team pedophile on the ground. Let's go for a corner. That's a big one. Yeah, that was a sick retake.
It was marginally better. Chronicle Redgar, who started that round, that was obviously we said that it was the Judge and the Sheriff. But you saw the Judge get an immediate conversion, and from that point, it looks like a center in the better position.
다 투명해.
Play back with that operator and with the Blade Storm, really opening up so much space.
Somebody else breaking the wall for the operator to find a pick. It's very easy that if you're breaking it yourself, you run out of you look like a fool. Instead, they always have these little setups just to allow Defo to find some pretty easy picks. And, well, as said, once he gets that Blade Storm online, it's a very different story. Now, we've got a buy that some would say is below average for the side of the town. Please.
So on paper, actually, let's not curse it. Let's leave it there. Killers is in a bit of trouble, so he's taking down. He already put his wall on the A side. That was supposed to sell a bit. Mike was blocked out. Great work. He followed up on his Starzo. The 4K for Redgar. Cosmic Divide online. The 4th round for Gambit. Steaming into the head of it. As I said, the fact that they lost that second round, but then managed to win the third, which was relatively even, if not slightly skewed towards Gambit's favor, puts them miles ahead in terms of the early half. Oddly enough, losing the second round has given them the best chance of success.
You should have found most of his kills. You found 3 of his 4 kills. say that this is also the map where I think that Red has some of his best games. Even though he's playing that Astra, he seems to just... It almost looks like it's an agent he's quite comfortable on, which, as many have pointed out, if you're playing an Astra and you're not comfortable on it, you are going to have a very, very bad time. It's one of those agents which definitely takes quite a deep skill set to be able to get all of the time, especially when it comes down to Cosmic Divide. So, yeah, after what was a pretty horrible start to this map, with back and forth all the way through, Gambit stabilizing, now puts them 4-1 up. And as I said, we expect a lot from their defense. It's their attack that normally lets them down.
Yeah, it most definitely is. This is where they want to be clocking up the rounds. Orbital Strike online for Ascend. Res for CNET. Zeke and Killa is about to have their ultis too. I mean, that is a bunch to work with. Over on the side, and Defo received a headshot. If Zeke had a vandal there, that was a nice, easy win. Instead, left on 10 HP by, I mean, pretty much a meter's distance, saving his life. Cosmic Device can be used defensively here now. They're trying to put a little bit of pressure. Wall manages to get it to the
네, 스파카요.
It is a battle, and a bloody one at that. But Gambit are coming out on top, with Zeke, after lurking out on B at the start of the round, arriving to the site to find his entire team is dead. And as the Cosmic Divide fades, he has 3 players to take down, the first of which was already through it. 5th on the board for Gambit, and on top of it, there are a bunch of ultimates online for Ascent. That's the only saving grace coming into this round.
Yeah, they could definitely throw quite a lot in here to basically get themselves a cheat round. I think that's what I'm going to start calling it. Brimstone played. I think Orbital Strike is strong, and then it ties into both parts. You can also play here as well, though. It's tandem with some of those ultimates can be a little bit more awkward at times. And then you got the Showstopper on Zeke, which we've already seen him blast back during it with a shot on attack. I really think he'll be able to do it.
No, Gambit are completely next to this play. They've got a start inside of Fuka. They're playing retake on B, or at least they were. The Cosmic, never mind. I still gets the kill. He managed to grab it. A headshot delivered immediately. I thought that they were going to play out of sight, but Chronicle walked in. So perhaps not as ready for that play as I had initially thought. CNET has a battle against the operator of Defo with just a sheriff in his hand. If he wins this, he gets an up for himself, and that could be absolutely massive. Viper's Pit activated, steps heard. CNET knows that player is running back. He has the input to play with, uses it. Wow. If there wasn't a second guy with him there, CNET had the kill. He had the ult, and the round could have went very quickly out of Gambit's favor, but instead, they're now able to play the retake, and it's only a good delay with the Orbital Strike. Actually takes Defo down. I guess he thought he was safe in the corner, but he wasn't.
Oh, that's big. That's big. The killer's actually surviving outside. He's got a rifle now. Another wraparound from Bone Cold. The time is ticking so fast. They've just got to get out of there. Just on time to learn. They've won it. So that fight is failed. But he still gets the headshot through the wall. It's going to be the round for Ascend. That was literal ultimate spam. That's how they won that round.
Yep. I mean, we said the saving grace, the Orbital Strike, the Showstopper. That's exactly what they get. The immediate threat that they faced was the operator on B-Long, and they dealt with that. Pushed him back. Then it's the player on site who has a ranged fight against pistols inside of Hookah. Very hard to entry out with, but Showstopper gives them that little saving grace, which then means the operator is alone to watch 2 angles. You can't do that, so Defo has to fall back into elbow, giving up the site completely, and from that point, all your job is done. I mean, it was literally the Showstopper that got them the site, and then they're able to play with the Viper's Pit on site. It's about as good of a round as you could expect when you're playing with pistols. Everything was like the dominoes. They tapped the first and it all fell into place. Now it's 5-2. Gambit have got a bit of a mixed fight of their own, but they've gone with the Judge, and then obviously Viper's Pit on B-Long. That's a solid hold to give a 3-man A-hold.
That Judge is intentional. I think he has extra money to buy other weapons.
Oh yeah,
that has nothing to do with the finances whatsoever. It is going to be still the operator in play, and now after all of that ultimate spam, we've seen some used in this round on the other side. They still have weaponry to play with. Zeke is able to take quite a lot of control. The Hunter's Fury will get one, and Zeke just continues. Already finding a big Shadow. Has a lot to do with it. The combat can't quite kill off CNET, and that leaves just one man standing. Who put his Viper's Pit down at the beginning of the round to try and lock down B, has got to instead try and retake A.
This is going to be a little bit of a scary one now. Viper's Pit obviously not online. About to go down over on B-Long. No 1v3 is going to have to be raw and duels taken. a nade, a flash online over on the Ascend side. I mean, that's pretty much everything they need, right? Flash can be used a little bit early and not really alone. But they're playing passive with the nades. There's literally no way Nats wins this. Time is the biggest constraint here, and if he gets both kills on mid, Zeke can just pop the nade in and then peek afterwards, and it's already done and dusted. I think his best hope is just to play for some exits, grab a kill, and take the TP. He gets caught by CNET attempting to do just that. Ascend, walk away with another round, and they do that one in a much more convincing fashion.
It seems, I saw a tweet a minute ago saying that people really enjoyed the Mitch and Tom podcast, so it seems like that match is actually a little bit more.
Yeah, shout out How to Noogle for that one. You know, he's demanded it comes back, so we had to take the vote and we had to go for it. And Tom, after the start of these seasons, fly up into the lead. They've slowed down a little bit now, haven't they? I mean, we had that one ultimate round come out of the set, and I'm always going to be very cautious when they win each round, when they win rounds with 3 ultimates with pistols, very fast blitz play, catching their opponents off guard.
どこでやってんの?
That doesn't signal the comeback. That opens the door, but they still have to walk through it, and they most certainly have with that round. That round fills me with a lot more faith.
I agree to an extent. I still look at that round though and just look at Shadow and think, it's like Casino when he's jumping up at the top of the wall, and it could have gone the other way. Like, yeah, sure, it's a round, and they've got it on the board, and we're looking over at the defensive side now, and they're still going to have to purchase it. So it's not like Gambit is being completely shut. It's not like they're running out of finances. The problem I have, though, is more so on the other side of the coin. It's like, do I have faith in Gambit? No. So how many rounds am I realistically looking at? I would say at least 8 like that. I know it sounds funny. But that's just been the case. So, now there's arguments that when they played against the Saints, they say, okay, well they lost to like 8 rounds from Starzo back to back. Maybe that gets in the heads of them a little bit. But I don't know if you've ever watched Nat's cam before. The man doesn't have emotion. I am actually starting to believe he might be a robot. Like I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying it's the case, but you don't smile when you like ace and absolutely destroy a team. And I want to, if anybody wants to go back to their qualification winning moment for Berlin, the whole team screaming, jumping up and down, like I don't know, they've just won the World Cup, and he was like, yeah, good. Yeah,
just chilling in his chair.
He's like Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like, you can't tell if he's happy or if he's...
That's a very good to see. I like that a lot. Yeah. Shout out the 9-9ers out there. Obviously, I want to also just address this quickly because we did joke around, and just in case anyone goes, I was one guy thinks you're serious now. That was a little bit... Yeah. I can't believe they brought the podcast back. Selfish Catholic. No, we were just filling for a technical issue, which is now beat ironed out, thankfully. So it looks like we're ready to jump right back into the game. You've been talented, my man. Like, it's never happened before. You passed with my top 1. You teach me for the day. And now look, we get tech issues all the time. This is what you get for cheating on me. That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, Tom. You know, I thought it would be harmless, just a little bit of fun with Hypog, but, you know, he infected me. We knew this was going to happen. You knew this was going to happen. You called it.
He treats me better.
We're getting back into the game now, 5-3. We've just seen Ascend win 2 rounds back-to-back, one with a bunch of ultimates committed, and one with a bit more consistency to it now. Let's see if they can chain them together even further. 5 round on the board for both teams yet again. Nats this time going to be the player who's inside of Phuket with that dangerous judge in hand.
He's been killed with it twice before, so I feel like this is the Depo is just full W king all the way through. He hits that shot. Yep. That was a hit. That is bone cold now on 38 HP. I will say that the man...
There's a chance he does this. He sees it's clear and just goes, let's just lob one into the box as we go back.
No.
The stalemate, really. There's the peak, and the shot doesn't connect. Great one from Tom. On the left side, he's going to cross over, cost him a lot of HP to reposition. Now down to 38. He'll be cautious of... Oh, he's on 3. Another bullet to the foot, in fact. He's just about able to get out there. That was a vandal shot. 34 damage to the leg. If that was his body, he was gone. Would have done the full 40. He is very, very lucky.
Something that many players have struggled to do. They spam this one. It's just quite common to spam this one. Flash to even completely blind, and there you go. Thank
level of that fight, but of flicking, trying to one tap and then correcting the aim, right? He doesn't do what everyone, or what a lot of people will do, which is just panic, like flick and spray. He flicks, goes one tap and then correct. How does he get away with it? I need to see this again because I don't understand. Beautiful. Every single one. You cannot fault Ascend at all for that. The timing on those peaks, sure, could have been better, but they didn't know where he was. The fact that he isolates every single duel, connects the shots, and is immediately ready for the next player to come. Game sense, aim, everything was just off the charts there. Now 6-3 Gambit. They should not have that round. That is a lost round that somehow they've been credited with.
I see what breakdown means.
Oh. And now you see what I mean when I talk about Defo. This guy is just impossible to play against. One of the most frustrating enemies you can possibly have.
He could have had back to back it. Look at his face. He's like, ruined.
That would be a different response. A big smiles from Defo. 7-3. What a quick conversion. But like the fact that 2 rounds ago, literally 30 seconds ago, it was looking like it was 5-3 and almost guaranteed to be 5-4. 30 seconds later, 2 rounds are gone. 2 buy rounds are gone, I should say, as well, just to be very clear.
I believe the last one wasn't an investment. This one definitely is.
A mixed investment, though. They still had some stuff to work with.
A few things, yeah. I think they had a shotgun in there, some like, upgraded pistols. It shouldn't have been that easy, let's put it that way. But, yeah. Ascend get this 7-5, and I still think they're not in a bad spot. I will say Gambit are probably be quite pumped up right now, because clusters like that, 1 in a million. Like, and then you get just the instant trade up. Defo's now got his dice on as well, obviously. Basically killing him. And he's going to be able to step out of there. Easy kill on the scene there.
He didn't get blinded, so they had absolutely no idea he was there. They're jumping around thinking, hey, it's still nothing. Lose the player. A second round. Gambit, you said they needed to get 8 rounds on the board, an 8-4 half, which is exactly what they had against G2 in the last time they played this map, and then it ended up going to overtime. You're pretty on the mark with that one, and that's certainly what they're aiming for right now. Walking through that wall for Zeke should be the end of his life. There is a flash for Starzo, though. That's going to fall out first, presumably oversight blind both of these players, actually. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's worked out for the first. Shadows is blinded up. He decides to play inside of that. Oh my God. It's so big. Inside will be dropped eventually. You rarely see anybody inside the same fight like that, especially not running back to do it, but it was the perfect decision. Well earned by Gambit, and Ascend has got to be feeling pretty good players with how they started. I mean, remember, they won the eco round and put it 1-1. And in terms of the buy round from there,
早くね。
He's 17-4.
they're 8-3 up, and we don't know the scoreboard right now, but at least 2 or 3 rounds ago, I thought that's when he had 1 kill. He is being on 2. He has 2. He hasn't to do anything this half. He's one of the scariest players in this roster, and it is just being spearheaded in this series by Shadows.
42 kills combined. Oh, okay. That's not enough. He's like, you know what? You've had the limelight. I'm going to try and take a little bit of map control. I guess you feel pretty confident in your teammates at this stage that they'll be able to win the round anyway. And it's a lot more of a tentative approach coming out from Ascend. They were battling and brawling for this position early on, and now they're almost just patiently waiting, wondering if this control is going to be snatched from them. Defo, we expected big things when it came to the last map. He was decent. He's been very good when it comes to this one. Currently on 12 kills as well.
Deep flash, blinding all the players, giving the information away. Nats needs a big hold here. That's a showstopper, and he deals with it. Not even a lick of damage on that hookah hold, and now everyone else coming down through long. The spray is good. Another gravitational well that sees massive value for Gambit. Shados with the double, and this should be it closed out. Starzo is a 1v4 to win, and he'll try his damnedest to just get out of this position through the choke point and take some duels. A good attempt, but in the end it will be 9 for Gambit. A solid defensive half as the CIS squad.
Switching sides.
Yeah, and I feel like we're looking at the other side of the coin. I mentioned this last time when we saw the play that it probably should have been a better half coming out from week before, but there were just some ridiculous clutches coming out from the side of Ascend. Well, this time it goes the other way. It is Shados who's just been unstoppable. Defo, Redgar have all been fantastic. Now they're 9-3 up. A pistol round might put this map to bed, and then the prophecy of David P will come true, and they will go 2-0 up in a series where I'll be realistic. I thought this was going to be...
I'm with you on that, for sure. I think that Ascend, when you look at this map, I don't know, I just hit a button on my keyboard and heard a Windows sound. That really freaked me out. But okay, here comes City, barreling through the teleporter, looking to get a little bit of damage done, but he ends up falling. They're running right in the hands of Gambit. A loss in his pistol could be the end for Ascend, and they have not managed to get it done here. Double digits in the one. They're able to put it 10-3.
I don't know if I've ever seen players
No, vabbè,
you
mi pare che no.
don't really see many force buys into these sort of rounds because you're not going to get anywhere near as much. You haven't had a spike plan to give you the extra finances, and also you can't just go and pressure. Well, you could go and pressure one side of the squad, but you need to leave the other one open. So it comes that little bit away. Basically won them the last round they had.
何してんの
Spotted a couple of players close. Not going to give too much away. Cold. He's going to peek out through. He actually still gets a kill there. That's surprising.
That is solid. You don't really expect him to. Sheriff's on their way up behind. Good spray from Nas. And it's just looking like Freelo here. The snake bite connecting onto Starzo as he creeps around this smoke. Oh, he's tagged up so heavily. 40 HP. Just a single bullet to the head will leave him dead. 11 on the board for Gambit. But Tom, we said before, they were at 11-6, and it's not that much of a bigger lead than what they managed to let slip away from when it came to Ascend. I don't want to say it, but like...
I think it's the perfect time to do it.
Boku the Spectres on the Gambit side. The setup's going to see a two-man A-hold over on Ascend. That's where Gambit wanted pressure. I'm going to go for early bathroom control here and try to pick up an orb. Defo seizing the orb right at the start, takes a little lick of damage on that snake bite. He's moving forward, trying to play with the drone. I like the early round presence. They put up the Tiger down through middle that spots out the raise. If a bit of information to play with here, at least on two players that are holding the site. Rotate has come through to allow Starzo to play with his teammate Killas. Trying to battle inside the smoke is good for 1. Repositions, and that's beautiful. I don't know how he killed Chronicle there. I did not see him kill Chronicle there. I saw it in the kill feed. Was that a random bullet that he wasn't even aiming through the smoke?
Hopefully the replay will.
We'll let you know. I saw him kill 2 people, but he killed 3.
Magic Mitch, that's what it is. Actually, I don't want to ever say Magic Mitch ever again. That makes me think of something very, very different.
That is an image nobody needs in their mind.
Nobody ever wants to see that. Hopefully you don't own a hat like that. Either way, Redgar
30 seconds
could
left.
still make this one. at least a little bit more problematic. Shados is lurking in this corner. The spike is in a horrific position. Truly horrible. But they are still watching every other angle and keeping an eye on any sort of push that comes through the spawn. Shados looking to try and hot flash through. Second one's quite far away, but they have to make a move on it. It doesn't catch out the player. It leaves it all onto Redgar, and Killers will be there to close out the round, earning his Viper's Pit at that.
The start of the comeback, sure, but they lose 2 players against the Spectres. It's not a great round for Gambit, but nor is it a great round for Ascend. This is an acceptable one, bare minimum done. And here's this replay, I guess. Killers. Let's see, so we killed the first here. Yeah. No, how did he kill him? How did he even kill him? Wasn't aiming anywhere near him. I need that on like 1% speed.
Slower.
That was running inaccuracy. Just shot the bullet at a 90-degree angle and killed the guy. He's playing wanted. He's just spinning the bullets in the air. Oh my god.
Okay, this happens too often where Defo gets shot in the head but doesn't die. It's just that we've seen so many of these and someone go down to 10 HP. It's starting to annoy me. It's probably starting to annoy the players as well. Seen it. He's trying to deny Hookah control. Now there's no raise on the other side, which is normally one of the easier ways to try and clear out the position with the paint shells. We've obviously got the boom bot as well. And you do have Asher, which is also another, like, at least a decent way. Like, I think we've seen, I'm always going to bring up Link on this map because he is the king of Hookah in my eyes. Like, the way that he's able to just avoid it means that you can't really just take those same sort of risks, especially knowing that someone like CNET is there. The defense have also then locked down mid with a Viper's Pit, which doesn't leave too many options where the attackers can actually go.
There are elements of both of these comps that I really enjoy, but yeah, I think the non-raised play is tough. How did he win that fight? That is the weakest weapon in play for Gambit, who just took a wide swing through a Viper wall and able to take a kill on sight. He's still going. He's still running at them, and he comes damn close. If he wasn't blind there, that was the freest kill of his life. 4 versus 4, but it was all a distraction. Defo on his side, Shados with another, and the spike can now be planted. They've got the space to do it. They're not 100% sure. They're worried about a flank, but they reposition. It's nice.
Oh, no.
Orbital strike. He's sticking his life. He has to sacrifice himself. Defo, just about gets it. The right click didn't land. Bone Cold has a chance. 20 HP on Defo, but it's Chronicle further away. Already spotted. Information there to play with for Bone Cold, but he's at such a disadvantage in weaponry. Quick headshot from Chronicle. 12 on the board for Gambit. They are looking to take this 2-0. You could say Defo.
There was also a moment there where somehow Zeke just walks through the entirety of just like, I am one of you, just ignore me while I go and kill the guy planting the spike. Like, I'm sure it must be a little bit frustrating to his teammates, the fact that you've got me covered, right guys? You got me okay, cool. Cheers, man.
Yeah, one of those sheer surprise. The reaction was quick enough. And speaking of reactions, the man himself, CNET, right through Hookah to pick up the opening duel. Ascend need 8 consecutive rounds. That is a tall order, especially against a Gambit that's as fired up as they are right now with Shados dishing out so many huge plays over the last map where we said he was pound for pound with CNET. But here, he is surpassing any and all expectations. Seekers, flashes, and opening kills. Gambit managed to at least apply some pressure to Ascend, but it doesn't look like they're committing. In fact, this is all a big ruse as they now rotate back towards the A side. They're not going to go in through bathroom. Too many close corners to clear. Snake bite down will slow them. No, in fact, they'll run through. They'll take a little bit of damage as they do. A double damage on the fights. No connection for Starzo. Kill as up close. Dealt with. In with the double. And this is looking done. Zeke needs to go absolutely nuclear inside this Viper's Pit. He does pick up the double, equalizing the numbers. Bone Cold on the flank con. They know exactly where Zeke was, which direction he's coming from. There's the Viper outside the pit to close it. Nats looking slightly pleased with himself. That's actually Nats being ecstatic. 13-4. as that will be 2-0 for Gambit, an impressive start to this series. The first map was not quite clean, but this one, I didn't see it being this one-sided.
I can't believe that's just happened. Like, genuinely, I'm just going to go through some of the other results for a second. I just want to read this out to make you realize how ridiculous this is. They beat Supermassive Blaze 13-6 on this map. They beat Gambit, the team who just smashed them, 13-7. They beat G2, Super Team from Europe, 13-2. FPX, maybe the X Super Team, 13-4. Rix, 13-6. Big, 13-8. I think it was only Giants in a different tournament that managed to get to 10 rounds. Other than that, no one's even got to 10. They just lost 13-4. Now, I'm really ready for the desk here, Mitch, because I have no idea what the hell has just happened.
Yeah, good luck to the desk in breaking down some of those plays, especially Shade Us. I mean, again, I'm going to employ that strategy.
That's the best thing I've ever casted in this game. Not even a question.
Gambit tweeted it out already and is saying that that is the best clutch I think I've ever seen. It was so damn good. And you can just... Man, I want Valorant to have a crowd. Can you imagine when we get back to that? Can you imagine Shados making that play in a stadium filled with fans? It's going to be so damn good when we get to see all you guys in person. But I don't want to see you guys right now. In fact, I don't want to see us guys. I want to see the analyst desk. So we're going to go to break. When we come back, the AD is going to break down everything that just happened. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back to the EMEA Challengers playoffs, where Gambit have absolutely demolished Ascent on Bind. I am your host, Yingsu. I'm back on the desk with Ryan Central and Kokuka. Now, we spoke about the way Gambit went away after the first series we saw against Ascent when they lost. Ryan, they changed things, they come back, and they were just absolutely outstanding.
We always wondered what Gambit could do when Attacker is on their shoulders, and it's that's the team that he was saying before, and a lot of other pros have said, very scary in scrims. I can start to understand why it's the first time that we've seen Ascent lose on this map since they brought in that new roster. The first time since April that they've lost on this map.
There was nothing that they could do against Gambit's defense. One word, clean, completely. Every single one of them was just crazy on the rolls, on the spots, just changing the setup to their favor. What can you do? But that's the point, right? It felt like there was nothing Ascent really could do. We've never seen them in these situations where, especially on a map, they're so strong that they didn't have an answer for Kazuka. Completely, we're going to see here on the stat sheet only with 0.7 KDA against Devil. I actually have to say that I think he was one of the key parts because he was using the different heights to help his team. It was set up in 6 defense. I feel like every single round it was at least a 3K for each one of the players.
Definitely very scary over on the A side as well. Like when he has the upper in hand, it's very hard to break down on the defense. And it led to a lot of free hits coming in overall. It's a bit of a concern as we go into it, but like instead, you did expect to be on the back foot at least to begin with. They weren't able to get the pistol on their defense. They only got 1 round out of 4. So another thing that you look at is Cena was exceptionally quiet in that series.
Yeah, and also is the fact that some teams think that Jet is maybe not the agent to be playing on this bind, but they make it work with all the aggression, with the controllers and the double height. Yeah, every single one of them is having a great game today, but also, like you said, Ryan, I believe, if my stats are correct here, I believe he's never actually lost on the stage before out of all the times he's ever played as agent.
It would line up really, because it's been since they lost to Fnatic. When he actually lost the bind wave and he played it. Like you sort of mentioned as well, like a couple of times on the Ascent where he's picked it up as well, but it's kind of a tough position for him to be in. I wouldn't necessarily say they lost because Sheena didn't perform. It's hard to, and Zeke as well, whilst he was top of the pack when it comes to stats for Ascent, he only had 1 first blood and 4 first deaths. He was really not finding those openings. And there's a round where we really get to see what Gambit are like, and one of the interesting things is, on the subject of CNED, is how is it, who is the CNED for Gambit? And Redguard pointed out, it's actually Shadow. It's a bit odd, this is a kind of angle like natural CNED, not a pain here, but the after utility that was actually coming out of Redguard was solid to the point that breaks all of the damage. This is something you see from Street. Like, he is exceptional at doing this kind of thing, like getting kills one after the other. The timing from Ascent geeking into him was a bit of a nightmare, let's be frank, but that is one of the best cases we've seen.
Yeah, Shaders was crazy, and we have to remember that it's because it was that round. Ascent was coming from, hitting an eco, using 4 ultimates and getting it, so they thought that there was a hole on B, but Shaders was actually in there. That was deathmatch though, wasn't it? That wasn't real, that was just is just like, yeah, I'm gonna pop off today, show you guys what I can do. But I think that comes a lot down to, Ryan, what you were saying before. The pressure is off, and now seeing Gambit being able to kind of really show what they can do is pretty scary.
Yeah, I think it's the qualifying part of it. Like, they're not scared of any team. In fact, they're like, we want to play the best people. It's like, we want to fight and our battle will be glorious. That's just Gambit in a nutshell. They want to play up against Ascend and Supermassive plays. But now that they don't need to worry about failing at all, because it really does come down to them still qualified for the league. big on their way into this tournament. So a good mix of results. The only concern, and this goes for Gambit as well, we haven't really seen them play it for quite some time. Like the early parts of the tournament, or in the best of 5 grand finals, for example. Like it's those kind of situations where maybe they're not 1-0 down even, and they have to win this match to bring it back. We've not seen the team being put into this position where it's a little bit more awkward, so I'm curious to see if anything's going to change, how well they're going to play it, and if they're going to panic a little bit on this.
It's funny because Ascend decided on that bind, and it's going to be Gambit who decides on this Breeze. As Ryan said, 3 maps, 3 wins for Ascend, but, I mean, they knew that they were going to play most of the maps. This is the only one that we're going to see probably a mirror in comms, unless we see something new. Again, this is the moment to try these things. I have to say that Gambit is looking too confident right now. I mean, Kakuta, Ascend, they can play the Yoru. If they want to bring that back, they can. Would you like to see them bring it back? No. I mean, wait, I'm going to say yes just because I miss Harry and just about it. Yeah, please, Ascend, just try. I mean, they won with the Euro, but just decided that maybe they were lacking something else, especially utility and maybe on the defensive side. So, this is still back to something basic, the most basic stuff that we're seeing here on Breeze. Works for them, same results. Is it going to be enough against this Gambit?
I think what Ascend's run on this map is what other teams should be, to be honest. Like, I think the vibe for the Cypher you also need to get these Ascend go for, and it reminds me of what Fnatic were doing on 5 with their composition. It's not necessarily as out there when it comes to the ideas that they have, but I think it's just a way that the map should be played. It's a lot of information, it's a lot of area denial, and you stick CNED back on the jet, which could be massive for Ascend.
I mean, they did. For the first 2 maps, they had a chance, you know. You have to go to at least the 3rd map for it to be a decision on either way. But now, Ryan, if Ascend lose this, they're getting 3-0 in the lower bracket. That means Gambit, they get their revenge. But are you worried about them at all? Because we know that MBS said in the pre-match interview, losing is fine. We need to lose before we go to Berlin. But just getting 3-0?
I think it'd send a message, wouldn't it, to the team of just like, alright, we were looking the top dogs, but we aren't anymore. We have some work to put in. And like CNED, the rest of the team overall, but I think CNED, there's still room to grow. I don't think anybody sits there and goes, we're the best in the world. They have some of the best players in the world, but they can certainly up it, and just in time for Berlin if they can.
Yeah, and talking about growing, we have to admit that one of the teams, probably the one that has grown the most during this finals, has been Gambit. So they definitely deserve it again. Still, a 3-0? I don't think so, but okay. Well, David P said a 3-2, so there's plenty of time for Ascend to come back. But we are going to take a quick break here. But stay with us because Breeze is coming up next.
ず勝って生き延びる。
私を驚かせてみて全てを見通した。味方はしっかり絶縁するわ。今回のチャンピオンです。
僕がジャンプマスターか。じゃあまあ飛びマスター。
私がジャンプマスターよ。光栄ね。上からの眺めを超えるものはない。
おい。いや、上行くべきっしょ、これは。いかんか。今すぐに。うん、全然来てなかったか。全然来てなかった。
Not a good shot.
Yeah, we're not NA here. Like we're looking at this game. Teams want to win. It's like, oh, I'm gonna.
see if they can. Tom, where are you at? Where's your faith in this series at? Because when we started it out, you told me that it was almost a dice roll, right? A coin flip when it came to Breeze. You still with that?
Yeah, I will say that. I think that, again, like, I put the last map firmly in Ascend's favour, so let's be honest, my opinion on this doesn't really matter too much, but...
Absolutely.
I will stand by what I said, though. The fact that they won that map dominantly is the biggest shock, one of the biggest shocks of this entire tournament for me. But I was expecting much more from Ascend, and now going into this map, I feel like CNED puts on a hell of a show, but we need to see it, because otherwise, they're out.
We absolutely do. This is the time where everyone on Ascend must show up to rally their way back into this series. They need 3 maps in a row, and it starts here and now. They're looking to eat up their opponents like it's a buffet, like they're teddy bears at a picnic. We're jumping into the map. Breeze kicking off Ascend on the attack side. One hell of a task in front of them. We know the Gaunt's defense is always going to be solid, Tom, and with this kind of competition, with this map taking into consideration, straight away, actually, I want to just put a little thing up there. Look at the Viper playing over on the A side. I think they're having a cycle. And you can only imagine how things are going to get confusing for their opponents as they swap around these comps. I mean,
yeah, I wouldn't like to be on the other side of it. Then again, I know how good Ascend can be on the attacking side, but we'll see. It is, as I said, almost the alternate both. Oh, alright. He's just going to go dancing through all of the utility and find himself the opener, give an advantage over to Ascend, and they can pull back into their after-plant positions. You can see they currently have a couple of snake lights available to them, so this is about to become very difficult for Gambit.
Yes, it is a tough task ahead as they make their way back in. It gets a little easier with Defo's kill alert play out of Killes. They just need to buy time for him to get up behind, and they're trying to distract as much as they can. Keeps on fracking. It's all left under the flag of Killes, and there's no one left to cause the distraction. An easy defuse coming in. The Defo desperately wants to get his knives online and Blade Storm, and he'll even take the death in the end, which, to be fair, at least he manages to get an orb either way.
Yeah, that was the thing. That is with the snake bites right now. So you could basically tank it at least most of the way to get it to half, and that's all he really needed to do, is making sure that realistically they had the defender done no matter what happened in the scenario. It's surprising though, like considering the position that Ascend ended up in after plant 5v4, cave control, utility available. They kind of got slammed. Like, there were 3 players left at the end, and they managed to isolate all of them. People at a flank that just got absolutely nothing done. So it almost just seems at the moment like Gambit are just rolling over them based off individual brilliance. These rounds, though, Gambit's kind of sucked at these. The second round, I think they've lost every second round of the map so far, of the game so far.
You're 100% right. The ecos have been destroying them. This time Ascend invest a little bit more with the 3 marshals that they have in play. And considering the map, Tom, this was something we highlighted when it first came out. Explaining the map. And we said that, well, that's what you want to be careful of. It's marshals.
I honestly think I'd end up playing, just turning my computer off if I played against it. I'm like, nah, they're stupid. Oh, I'm being isolated another joy. It really is happening again. It's reliant on a low red guard and Nats, who, well, in terms of a retake on the A side, is not going to be in the best of position. He's going to watch for the lurk and feeling when he's weaponry, but his positioning is strong.
A great retake wall, a Viper wall that they have on the Gambit side, but no Viper to put it up. He's going to actually get doesn't check this corner, and he's not at the moment, he's casting an eye towards it every so often, but this should be just a great position, great timing from Killes. A wallbang headshot with a classic isn't going to be enough, it doesn't cut it. It leaves Nats 1 hit. Oh, okay, I was going to say to a Marshall, but that's a quick way to finish him off. And Redgar, he already said he was quite low. You might want to just save this Guardian, but they've spotted him. Within a couple of seconds, they'll realize he's saving, and look at that. A mass exodus of the A site as they look to move towards the spawn. It's Starzo that wants to take him down, clearing out middle. They can't really overextend too much, especially when he's playing with that Spectre. You kind of want to save it for the next round, and they're just going to all tuck in. So at least the Guardian will be carried forward, but another pretty disastrous start to a map, although it hasn't held Gambit back so far.
Yeah, it's just odd though. Like, I don't think I've seen a team win all 3 of the first half pistols and lose all 3 of the second round forces. I don't think that's ever happened in a match because it's just silly. Like, sure, they dominated the last one. They also managed to win the next round back when it came to buying, so it didn't really matter too much for them. But I don't know if they're going to be given that same luxury again. In fact, they're not investing on the majority of players. It's only really the same weaponry that's going to be able to do anything here.
The Viper roll usually means you can't really take a peek with the Marshall in hand, but obviously it's a little bit of difficult this time, much more aggressive. Cutting Madonna in half and letting them get to the site. Already dropped one. Guardian's going to try to chip them up, and I think if they lose many more players, you'll immediately be looking at saving the Guardian over. Just hoping that someone gives an opportunity away. Ascend, though, considering how these their third rounds have gone for them, they probably don't want to overextend too much. Yeah, it was an interesting flash. I think he thought it was around the corner, a little bit of a mechanical hiccup. On the other side, though, the sky flashes are pretty on point.
This is what we expect to see at these sort of rounds. Utter dominance from Ascend. Beautiful start to their attacking side. And the thing I'm actually most excited for, and I think there's not many players who'll say this for in general, but it only really applies to CNET, is the attacking approach from CNET. Because I think on this map, on Ice Wall, it really is a game changer, which is unorthodox. Like, there aren't too many very strong attacking operator players because you have to play in such a way that you're basically getting up in the face of your opponents and just hitting these ridiculously fast shots. And for him, that's going to be a game changer. Now, it hasn't even come into play yet, and he's already so there's a trend. Now, they do have the Blade Storm available to Defo, Seekers for Starzo as well, which on this map in particular, when you have all of these Viper walls, screens, the utility available at the B site, Seekers is such a
That's going to be used up right away, revealing just the one player towards the B side. There is going to be heavy pressure on Mats as he gets pushed down. CNET to his right, Starzo to the left. And well, that's going to be the B side overrun. 4 versus 3, Gambit trying to find an angle to get back in on. Defo not able to detect the trap wire in time, so he's out of here, and Viper's pit erected means it's going to be pretty tough to get in. Maybe they can get a tag with that recon. Hasn't quite connected. They spam the other side. Nothing found. And I don't want to throw the word save around just yet, and especially not with Defo pushing forward, but it is an uphill battle. And as the numbers thin out over on the Gambit side, have the Viper's pit dropped. Hold on. They're still in this for now. Time relatively low for now. Redgar, good to take Starzo. It's just one more player left to deal with. He's looking for the wallbang headshot, fading him into the open. It's getting damn close, but Zeke will finish it out. 3-1 for Ascend.
Yeah, really solid round for them eventually. It was looking a little bit dangerous, especially over the last few seconds, but the time bought, the ultimates used, and I think for Nats in particular, it is really difficult to play this B side, because even though he's got all of his utility up close, there aren't many positions within this side that you can actually stand, and you could see that Ascend knew exactly where it was going to be, even before they threw out the sequence. Like, they had the snake bite put into the corner to push into the right-hand side, they had players wrapping around the left, and then the Seeker came in and just made it impossible. So if they can just continue to isolate him, this becomes a very different map, because we have to see adaptations, and in fact, we're going to see one thrown in already, as they're going to try and push a little bit more aggressively onto the B side, and now just try and stack up on A. I don't know if they're going to get there in time, actually.
Now the rotates are on the way. There's no one left to support on the side. Gambit have lost everyone in clean duels, and what a turnaround this has been for Ascend in just the first couple of rounds. They are looking a lot better than they have over any of their attacking sides so far.
I think worried about the fact that they've actually lost versus Dashboard. Now, this is a map where even Gambit themselves have shown some prowess on the attacking side, but I will say that a lot of those were, I don't want to be harsh, but these were teams that realistically they should have been beating. Okay, sure, they had a really dominant attack side versus no pressure, which they didn't know they became Navi. I think proven themselves to at least be a decent team within EMEA. Like they've proven that they can battle, so to dominate them on the attacking side is good. But then other than that, you've got some wins there. Favorite team.
そうでしょ。
They haven't faced anyone versus anyone who was good. It's a hidden bear. I didn't even know that was there.
I've never seen that before, yeah. Nowhere to run. Well, let's see if what was that? See, it looked like he was mid-dash when he did that. Obviously he wasn't, but the timing, he's so quick on the trigger. Well, Gambit have lost this round. Coming into the next one, we've got 2 players left. I mean, it's a matter of seconds into the round. I mean, I don't know if...
オールグリーン誰でもかかってきな。
みんな楽しもう。このウォルダー・ヒューズ・フィッツレイが相手になるぜ。
今回のチャンピオンです。私が指揮を取る。あっちに行くよ。
はいでした。
ファーストキル ケアパッケージ交換。
新しいキルリーダー。いいさ。私が求めてるのはもっと上だ。みんな冷静に。
分かった。
何が？全員来ちゃった。
チャージ進行中。
60秒のカウントダウン。リンクはすぐそこだ。
リングは近い。残り時間は45秒。アルティメットが使えるぞ。
いいね。
リングが近いのは幸いだね。残り時間は30秒。医療キットを発見。
いいの持ってまんな。
スコープを発見。スナイパースコープバレ拡張エネルギーマガジンを発見。レベル3だ。設置したよ。おい、ケアパッケージが来る。行くぞ。
2人よくし。おお。ですな、ですな。起こせろ起こせろ起こせろ起こせろ起こせろ起こせろ起こせろ起こせろ起こせろ。 危ねえ。帰ってね。ごめん。あれまだ2回おるんか。どんなよかったな。いい。そんなビビらんでいける。
こっちを巡航しようか。
laser focus. The timing's so poor. Shados comes out perfectly peeking and taking